Hello again, everyone. Thanks for checking out the video. In this one, Serge and I take a look at conditional formatting in LibreOffice Calc and how you can use this to represent your data in different ways, show some different colors and measures, highlight things, and generally just visually differentiate the data in different ways. Hope you enjoy the video.
Conditional formatting we need file with the conditional formatting. We will come here later. Here are some complex formulas. We'll first begin with the conditional formatting. So if you open another, below, next to TF, you've got a plus, yes. Go into new sheet, and I will explain the concept of a conditional formatting, show two examples, and then we will apply the complex formulas. So what is the conditional formatting? As the name suggests, is that when one or several conditions happen, then you give another format to cells or your range of cells. So you might give another color to the cell, or you might give polish, another size, another font, another border. You can choose another effect. That's up to you. What is going to change if that condition or those conditions happen? So to give a simple example, in A1, you click on FX, type rand between. Yes, click on rand between. Yes, next. And then for instance, we will take 5 for the bottom and 20 for the top. Click OK. And select, for instance, 10 values. Yes, and you Control C and right click. A special, yes, is good. Only numbers. Okay, and now you see you could escape, and now we got static numbers. So let us suppose are your notes upon 20 of your different subjects, or at the university and have examinations and got several points upon 20, and this is so. We would like, for instance, to we could see what it will give as a sort of small chart. How can we do this? So they are selected. Now you can click on the small triangle next to the icon representing the conditional formatting. So it is, I think, the last one, not that one, the last one. You click on the small triangle, and we will take data bar. Here we click all cells, which is good. And for data bar, we will click on more options. Data bar is good, but we will click on more options. And what is the color? The color will be blue. Well, this is good. We can take it. But here you see you can have a gradient or in the fill we will choose the color. And you click on OK and on OK again. And you see we've got in the cells, we've got a small chart. It is a chart based on bars, and you have the numbers, so you can see in which subjects you had a low digit, low points, and which one you had better points. So this is one possibility of getting a conditional formatting. Have the data bars, and you can see that in the second pop-up window, you can choose the color that you wish. You can choose a gradient. You can choose. You can set the minimum. Yeah, you can go back to data bar. Edit more options. Yes, in more options. No, good. More options. And there you see the minimum automatic, but you can decide to set it yourself. Instead of automatic, you can put it yourself. And either as a value or as a minimum, and the same for the maximum, 0, and for the maximum you could do 20 yourself. If you use value. and you can put 20. You can change the value. So you can change the color for the positive. Here we don't have negative numbers. Change color of the bar. The blue might have another color. That's up to you. You choose the color that you wish. And then if you have axes but you don't have them here, you might change the position of the axis and you might change the color of that axis. You don't have that here. Go here and click on OK, and you would have a light gray instead of having a blue. But you see that for 5, as you put it as the minimum, it cannot see it because it is the lowest value. So it's like it was 0. This is why keeping automatic, it will put from 0 to 20, and then 5 will be red. So automatic. Hopefully it doesn't. Yes. Okay. Get it? Yes. You get back, then you can see the 5. It's visible. Otherwise, it might not be visible. So this is one way of having conditional formatting based on data bars. You select from A1 to A10, right-click on it, and here you can clear the direct formatting. Clear direct formatting. You see, now you've got only the numbers without conditional formatting. But we could show them in a different way. We could see, so I would like to see, for instance, the lowest values, then the average values, and then the good values. So you select, you go into conditional formatting, and you choose color scale with 3 entries, and can choose minimum, maximum, and percentile, and red for what is not good, yellow for the average, and green for the good one. Yes. So if you click OK, you see, if you click outside, you can see that the values which were bad, like 5 upon 20, is in red. The values which were very good, like 18, are in green, and the values which are close to the average are close yellow. Here, in this case, they are orange because it is a combination of red and yellow, because we are between 5 and the average. So it doesn't have the yellow color. You have no value in your points, which is the average. So that's why you don't have the yellow color. If you had that one, you would have yellow color. See, you've got another possibility, having a conditional formatting based here on a gradient of colors, and on several colors, but you can change this. If you click A1 to A10 and go back to yes, and edit, select it and edit. You see here, instead of color scale 3 entries, you can change that. I have with 2 entries, which is not good. So we will keep the 3 entries, but you can change the color if you wish. See, instead of red, you could choose any color that suits your needs. The same for yellow and the same for green. Now you see, you've got other colors. It's up to you. The colors, you can define them yourself. This is another way. It's showing you with different colors where are the lowest values, where are the highest values, and where are the values between those two. So could you select from A1 to A10 and right-click and clear direct formatting. Now, another possibility, D2, is to select icons. So we will choose in conditional formatting, we will choose icon set. And in the icon set, it's good. We've got a red arrow, a yellow, and a green. But you have to define when does it have to be yellow. We will say when it is above 10. Not in person, but in value. Value, yes. And for, let us say 14 and in value. And you click OK. And now you see you've got in the cells, you've got conditional formatting showing you red arrows, yellow arrows, and green arrows regarding the conditions you have defined for those. You have defined a value greater or equal to 10 for the yellow and a value greater or equal to 14 for the green. And this is a third way.
So if someone were to look at this and say, well, what's the point of that? So when you're trying to analyze sets of data and large sets of data, a lot of times having these visual conditional formatting elements allow you to visually look at data and look for things that are outside of a range, perhaps, or things that would stand out. And maybe, you know, you're trying to analyze a sales report or something, and you're trying to find the highs and the lows. So this is somewhere where these arrows or the colors or any of these things, just to give that context, because if people haven't used this and wouldn't understand, like, well, why would you do this? That's really what you're trying to do, is to be able to visually differentiate data.
And here we have done it either through a data bar, through a color scale, through an icon set. Now, could you take A1, A10, right click, clear direct, yes, clear, and delete your selection. And now could you put dates? Doesn't matter. And that's good. You select A1 to A5, go to conditional formatting and choose date. So you see, we will apply something when the date is. For instance, you click and change today with, for instance, this year. Okay, and now you click on accept and we change it. We have to define a new style. New style. Okay, you give it a name. You give the name this year. What did you do?
I just started typing. I guess it looked like it was selected. But
okay, this year. Without space, it's better. I prefer without space. Underscore is good if you wish, but no space. And then you go into background, and you choose color, and you choose a color. It doesn't matter. In the palette here, choose color. You click on OK, and you click on OK again. And then you see, if you go outside, you see that the dates of this year are in yellow. So, for instance, it might be if you have planned something and you have to see what is going to be for the next week. Then you could apply them. You can select. It doesn't happen here because there is no date in the next week. If you had one, then you could apply special style and a special condition formatting to highlight the cells which are in the next week. Because you saw that when you click on, if you go to manage the rules, yes, you click A1, A5, go to manage all, yes, click edit. And you see, instead of this year, you've got plenty of conditions there. Day, yesterday, tomorrow, last 7 days, last week, next week, this month, last month, and so on. It's up to you to define which is going to be the condition for you so that you will highlight the cells matching the condition that you defined. Here is done in a very simple way. Don't do complex. Here you are adding something else. I see condition 2. So this we'll see just a little bit later. But you can see that you have plenty of possibility, but also rather simple. But now we will go into the more complex. So that was something called conditions. So could you right click, clear the direct formatting and delete. So you see here, okay, you deleted nothing. you see that you had numbers. How does it come? You had a date and you have numbers, because a date, in fact, for LibreOffice Calc is the number of days that were between a certain date, the original date, and today. It's the number of days between those 2 dates. And this is why you have these numbers that if you do right-click, format cells, and then you choose date, yes, for instance, okay, you see, you've got them as a representation of a date. But for calc, it is the date is in fact a number of days between an original date. I have to check which one, so I don't remember by heart which one it is, and today.
I remember that was part of the Y2K thing, because that date was a 2-digit date in some cases, and that was one of those things where when the millennium rolled over. But also, it's interesting that doing that clear direct formatting not only clears the conditional formatting, but also any kind of numerical or formattings. Yeah.
Yes, it clears all the formatting you've done. So now we can delete selection, no formatting, and what we can do before going into CF will show how to apply, for instance, condition. So we will once more create random numbers, so fx, random between, and find, for instance, 1, 100. Okay, and but it remembers that you have format cells. This is good. This is good. And you choose 25. Yet. Okay. So Control C. This A1 to yes, Control C. A1 to Control C. Okay. So now, instead of applying these simple conditional formatting like data bar, like dollar scale, like icon set, here we don't have date, so we can't apply that. But we have, you click next to it, you've got condition. And here we can say, for instance, the value. So when the value is equal to, but if you see you've got plenty of possibility, you can say, for instance, it has to be greater than. And you must define enter a value. That is strange. Yes, I couldn't see it. You enter a value between 1 and 100 of 50. Okay, then you click on accent, and you choose this year, because we have defined a style, so we will choose this year a style. But you could define your own style. It's up to you. And you click on OK, and you see all the cells which are above, greater than the value you defined, are now in yellow. So this is where you define a condition. So we go from A1 to A25, and right-click and clear direct formatting. But we could choose another condition. Yes, condition, and you see instead of equal to, you can see that you have plenty of possibility. We see, for instance, it has what happens if they are duplicate. The duplicate in these numbers, duplicate, and you can choose a new style. Give it the name duplicate. Yes. Go to background, but you can go somewhere else. So that's up to you. And you define, yes, if you want to give another font or another font effect, that would be something you have to choose. And here you have decided that they are through.
Just as double strike through. It's
double strike through.
I don't think that you'd ever actually do that, but hey.
No, you don't do. But it's just to show you what it is to show, and you can see the duplicates. But you can highlight it with a color if you prefer, or as you did here. That's up to you. It's up to you. The format you wish to give to those special cells, it is up to you. See, here it's better for because you can see them easily. It is white on a red background. So as you could see, we have defined a simple condition, and with this, we have defined a format when that condition happens. And when we apply the formatting to all those cells, the cells matching conditions, are highlighted with the format we have chosen. So this is another way of choosing a conditional formatting based on a condition of all cells, or it might be of a specific cell. So we will change it. So if you right click and clear direct formatting, and now I think we might go into CF. I mean, no, not here. Sorry, the sheet CF. Yes, and here there are different examples of conditional formatting, and what I will explain what they are. So if we take the first one from A5 and 5, what is the purpose of this conditional formatting? Well, in A1 to A5, I've got a number of items here, first names, and the same in B1, 5, but in column A, I have highlighted the items which are in the column A, but which are not in column B. You can see that Pierre and Jules, with French first names, are in column B, but Jean-Martin and Sylvie are not. And vice versa. In column B, I've got first names of column B, which don't appear in column A. How do this? So here, as we are in this, we will click on conditional formatting manage. We will see manage. And here you see A1. You can see what is the formula. So it is not the condition is the formula is. And what did I do? I counted. I count if in a special range, so in the range B1, 5, I'm counting the number of occurrences, of A1. And if it is equal to 0, it means it doesn't appear in B1, B5. It must be highlighted in green. And as A1 is in relative value, it means that when it will be applied to, it goes down to A2, it will be applied to A2. When it goes down to A3, it will be applied to A3, to A4, to A4, and so on. So each cell from column A, we will check if it happens, it exists in column B. If it is the case, nothing happens. But if it is not the case, which is why it is equal to 0, then it is highlighted in green. So here you can click OK. One changes. You can click on B1, B5. Yes. And you see the formula is here. I took the range in, you see formula is for condition 2. Formula is below. So yes, there you've got the formula is the same. Count if. In A1 to A5, I'm checking now the items of the column B. I take B1, and I will see if B1 is in A1, A2, and so on. If it is the case, nothing happens. If it is not the case, then I decided to highlight it here in red. So this is how you can, for instance, when you have two columns, you can see which items of each column don't appear in the other one through conditional formatting based on a formula. So you click OK and click on C10, E19. Okay, here the formula is, when you see the condition 3, it is an AND. It means we will apply two logical values. It is the AND. When the two logical values are true, then and only then the conditional formatting will be applied. Oh yes, people want to see what it is. So we've got an AND. AND means we will apply two or more than two logical values, booleans. The first one is to see if a C10 is equal to a value. So if you could minimize your gate so that people can see, and yes, you see the value for is for F9 is blue. I want to see, if we go back to the formula, go to your editor, I want to check when in column C item is going to be blue. This is one, needs to be blue. And the second one, item, when it is blue, the value in column D of blue has to be less or equal than the smallest values that I give in a particular range. And I take the three lowest values. And when this happens, then I highlight it here, I highlight it in green. You see, we've got for blue, we have the smallest values because there are 5 values, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And the three lowest values are 10, 20, and 30. So they are highlighted in green. So this is another case of conditional formatting based on a formula. Yes, we can click OK. We will see the next one, which is 22E31. Yes. Here, what is it? I'm checking, I'm comparing the values of the column E to the column D. When the values of column E are greater than the equivalent, meaning in the same row of column D, I want them to be highlighted in green. You can see that in column E, the cells highlighted in green are the cells where the value of, in the column E, the value is greater than the equivalent value in column D. They are highlighted in green based on the formula that is there is, you see, $E22 is bigger than $D22. As the 22 has no dollar before it, it means it is relative. It will go from row 22 to 23 and so on. The only thing stays in column E because you've got $E and it will compare it to the column D and only that one. It won't change. Fixed by the dollar. So this is a hybrid because for path of a cell, you've got 4 possibilities. Absolute, the $2, $1 for column and $1 for the row. You have relative, no dollar for the column, no dollar for the row. Then you've got the 2 mixed cases with $1 for the row, but no dollar for the column, or $1 for the column, no dollar for the row. So you've got 4 possibilities in total. And here I have selected the one when we have to stay in the column, but the row may change.
And just so folks understand, so the first is the column, obviously, because that's the letter of the column.
Yes.
And then the number is the cell itself. So
and the number 22 is the number of the row. If you
right, and so what he's saying is you can put those dollar signs between and
yes,
then be
yes. If you do that, then you fix. Then it won't. It will go for E22, but it will not be valid for the other ones because it is blocked in the cell 22 because you have blocked column and you have blocked the row, so it cannot move. So the formula can not be applied to the cells below that one, because you block two things. If you remove the dollar before the 22, you can go to row 23, then 24, and so on. You can go to all the rows in column E and column D, because in both cases, I didn't put a dollar in front of the number of the.
And this is particularly helpful if you are copying and pasting formulas between cells. So when you're absolute, you're being explicit and saying this can only be for these rows or cells, versus, like Serge is saying, if you don't put the dollar sign, then it will automatically apply that and numerate through the different rows and columns automatically. So, whenever you click and drag on a cell, it will, you get this little box. What it's going to try to do is copy that formula down. If you haven't been explicit, then it will try to change the numbers as you go to adapt to what you're dragging. So yeah, it's a different concept. It's a little, that's just sort of scratching the surface. But if you find yourself having problems with trying to apply formulas in multiple cells and it's doing something you don't expect, you may need to be absolute, like Serge is saying.
Okay, so we can go back to manage conditional formatting, so that we go to the following one. So we go to age 33, and there you see the formula gives you the possibility of, yes, what did I do? Well, here I wanted to have the values which are in the first column and which appear also in the second column. So it is an AND. We have to both. So I want to see if in the first column, I took the range from the first column, age 33 to age 37. And here, as they have dollars, but there is a column between the two, it means all the absolute cells between age 33 and age 37. And then I compare the first, but that one is totally relative because it is age 33 without any dollar sign. So in the first one, I will check if age 33 is there, and I will see also if it is in the second column. If it is the case, so it is true, then I will highlight it in a special color. So I will see each item in the first column, does it appear in the second column? If it is true, then it will be highlighted. If it is false, then nothing will happen. You can see if you click on OK, you can see that Peter appears in column H and Peter appears in column I, and only Peter is highlighted because the other items don't appear in the other column. So this is to find, for instance, it's not very interesting when you've got 5, but if you've got 50,000 items and you want to have something quick, see if there is eventually the same item in 2 columns, or here it's only 1, but you might have several items that are identical in the 2 columns. You can find them easily. They are highlighted, the color that you want to see if there are similar items in 2 columns. So this is another case for a formula. And the last one, which is the more complex one. So what did we want to do here? Here, for instance, you've got a column with several items, and then we would like to see that column contains many items from another column. If it is one item, it is quite easy. But when there are many items, you need a special formula to do this. And here are formulas. I will explain that formula, not today, because it's quite complex. This will be the topic for formulas and functions. Here you see we have nested several functions and into a conditional formatting. Principle is this. We search in a list which has a name, a search. The a search is a defined a range of cells with a name, and the name is a search. Then I'm looking if an item L13 does appear in that range of cells. If it is the case, search will give me position. This number will give me true. The minus below will convert the Boolean into a numeric value, and then the sum product will, as the name says it, will multiply and do the sum, and then we will see if it is above 0. And if it is the case, then it must be highlighted. And you can see, okay, and we will see. Okay, you see, we've got in column N, we've got 3 items, a dog, a fox, and a donkey. And I have in column L, I've got several items, and I would like to know quickly if items in column N are in my column. Of course, it's very easy with the few items I have, but once more, the principle would be good. If you have 100,000 items, you would like to know quickly if some items are in those 100,000 items, and they would be highlighted so that they would be there. And you remember we did with sort, if next to doc you put green, so on, then you choose the 2, and we won't do it here, but remember that we can do if a header above doc, a header above the value of the color, select everything and do a sort, an ascending sort on the name of the color, and then you would have all the highlighted, they would be in green, would be together, and you would see them immediately on the 3 adjacent rows. Rather here, you have 50,000 or 100,000 items, you have to scroll to see which cells are highlighted. But at least we have shown that you can do conditional formatting with formulas, and they can be quite complex. So we have nested function, some product, this number with Serge in a formula that we apply at a conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is quite powerful